You tuned in to Street Legends Audiobooks. Real stories, real pain, no faking. That episode's A Mind in Recovery. You feel me? Sit back, vibe out, let's get it. Preface. 8. Look. Every damn day feel like I'm walking a tightrope. One foot in front the other, hoping that rope don't snap. Some days I'm cool with it. Balanced, focused, like can't nothing knock me off. Other days, shit. I'm swaying, losing my grip, trying to keep my head straight. But either way, I stay on that rope. Cause if my mind clear, I know I'ma make it across. That's what living with this shit feel like. Mental health, demons, paranoia. I ain't even gonna lie, I've been dealing with that while the whole world watching me. Everybody think they know you, but they only see the little piece that make it to the camera. They see the fame, the cars, the jewelry, the glow up, but they don't see the rope. When you in the spotlight, you either the finished product or a fucking mess. Ain't no work in progress in this game. And I done been both. Real talk. I've been the nigga they looked up to, then the same one they laughed at when I fell. But they ain't see the war going on inside my head. They ain't see them nights I ain't sleep, sweating out pills, trying to fight a mood I couldn't explain. I ain't even know what was wrong with me back then. I was young, wild, rich, felt untouchable. But my brain was playing tricks on me. Shit started changing. How I moved, how I talked, even how I saw myself. One day I'm Gucci, next day I'm somebody else. Ain't no balance. Later they told me what it was. Bipolar, paranoid schizophrenia. Man, when they said that, I ain't even understand what that shit meant. I just brushed it off, kept hustling, thinking I could outwork my own mind. But nah, that's a fight you can't muscle through. It took me years to see it clear. I started noticing the patterns, how I go off the rails, crash out, then come back acting like nothing happened. Them was my episodes, sometimes weeks at a time, like my body and my mind was speaking two different languages. And while I was living through it, the world was watching like it's a TV show. My pain was entertainment. Folks laughing at shit that was killing me inside. But when I started writing this, I saw it all for what it was. I saw the storm that been brewing for years. All that grinding, all that hustling, all that pressure. That hustle can heal you or destroy you, depending on how deep you dive in. And I dove all the way in, nigga. Almost drowned in my own ambition. Now I'm standing here, telling you the truth. I ain't perfect, but I'm changing every day. People see me now, clean, married, focused, successful, and think it's easy. Nah, bruh. Every morning I still walk that same tightrope. I just learned how to balance better. The world first met me through music. Then y'all read the autobiography of Gucci Mane. But this right here, this different. This me processing everything I've been through. This me pulling them demons out the dark and looking them in the face. I call this episodes cause that's what life been. A bunch of moments, some real, some blurred, all of them part of me. Bad choices, good comebacks, mental breakdowns, small victories. Every piece of it shaped the man I am now. Sometimes I don't even remember parts of it. Had to ask my people what happened. That's how deep it got. Your brain start fighting itself and all you can do is watch. But even after I came home in 2016, even after that new Gucci talk, I still had episodes. Real ones. Ones that almost sent me right back. That last one though, that one woke me up. Made me want to tell this story, not because I need sympathy, but because I know somebody else out there walking the same tightrope. Maybe this'll help them balance too. I've been in this game 20 years now, seen it all. Money, fame, death, prison, redemption. I'm blessed to still be breathing, making music, raising my kids, loving my woman. I don't take none of that for granted no more. People say they see how much I changed on the outside. But what they don't get is, you can't glow on the outside till you fix what's broken inside. You can hit the gym every day, run 5 miles, post motivation quotes. But if your mind dirty, your soul's still trapped. This book is me cleaning up the inside. It's me showing what that process looked like. The grind, the relapse, the paranoia, the wins, the peace. Ain't no filters, ain't no PR, just real life. If you're going through something, don't be scared to get help. Don't wait till the rope snap. I did, and it almost cost me everything. Maybe my words gonna change somebody. Maybe it'll save somebody's life. Either way, if you hear this and it hit your soul, then it did what it was supposed to do. On God. Chapter 1. Scars from the past. Eon forget that call. Phone buzzing, summer air heavy, and I pick up to straight chaos. Fast breathing, sobs, like a nigga drowning while he talking. I'm like, you good? You feel like you want to hurt yourself? He ain't say yes, ain't say no, just hit me with, I'm done with this. I can't take it no more. And the way he said this, I knew he ain't mean the day, he meant life. Big Scar on the other end sounding like the light inside him flickering. You hear a certain tone, you know what time it is? I knew that bomb was ticking in his head. Tick, tick, tick. I done lost people to every demon the world throw at you. Drugs, bullets, disease. Buried my own mama, stood graveside with the rain hitting like fists. But hearing a lil bro at 20-something tell you he finished? That do something to your chest. I called Keishia in, put it on speaker. My wife got that calm that cut through panic. She whispered like a nurse on a crisis line. Ask him if he took anything, drank anything. He had. PILLZ, a bottle's worth. Enough to turn a heartbeat into a flat line. She tell me, tell him drink water, keep drinking. Ask if he ate. He ain't even remember if he ate. Voice getting shaky like he feel interrogated. Then she say, ask if he wanna hurt himself. Tick, 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 and boom. I'm done with this, he screamed, chest broke open. I'm panicking. Keishia gripped my arm. Hush soft. Tell him you love him. Tell him you there, I said it real. I love you, Scar. I'm right here. I heard him let out a breath like a door unlocking. Tears slow, breathing level out. Sometimes that's all it take. Somebody who ain't running from your pain. I asked, you want to go to a center? He said, yeah, scared but solid. They gon' dry you out, I told him. He paused, realizing help mean the drugs gotta go. I don't know what I'ma do, he said. I'm in pain, all of me. Hurt in the bones, hurt in the brain. I kept him on the line till he walked through them center doors. We hung up, and it felt like my ribs caved in. That adrenaline hangover hit, body drunk on fear, head empty. I looked at my wife like, how you know how to do all that? Tears in her eyes, 'cause I had to do it with you, in your episodes. That made me sick for real. We never see the splash we make when we fall till it hit the one standing closest. Scar was skinny tall but stood 10 feet in spirit, proud, chin up. Came to me through his cousin Pushisti. Soon as I heard him, I knew, special. Signed him to 1017 fast. Make a Play went viral, he shined on So Icy Summer, then So Icy Boys with Pooh and Foo. Felt full circle, 'cause my story got So Icy stamped on it too. I seen myself in him, hungry, tunnel vision, ain't competing with nobody but the mirror. But behind the grin was that sadness in the eyes only another wounded nigga recognize. He had history with death. Flew through a windshield at 16, glass kissing his face from hairline to chin. That scar gave him the name, but it told a deeper story. Death keeps swinging, he keeps slipping the punch. Then 2020, he get hit in the hip running from a shooter. Bullet ride into his spine, tear through him like bad news. Surgeries, appendix out, leg realigned, bullets still in him when we shot a video. Pain pills followed, and pills don't care if you a star. They love everybody the same. Lean in the baby bottles, purple syrups showing up on camera like it's candy. I tell these kids what that shit do to you. They hear after school special. But I wasn't trying to scold him. I was trying to save him. The first red flag, FaceTime from Cali while I'm in Miami. He thanking me, get emotional, then his eyes roll back mid-sentence, whites only. Looked possessed. He hung up. Later ain't even remember the call. Folks around him seen the shift I couldn't, day by day. Label hit me. Atlantic execs say he ain't right in the studio, mood swinging, work slowing up. That wasn't him. Lil Bro was a machine in the booth, conditioned athlete with the mic. Manager call. He's so high he can't record. Family worried. Girlfriends say the circle toxic. They tried a mini intervention, he refused. Then he called me crying. God's timing, ugly as it be. He only stayed 3-4 days that first time. Came out looking better but heavy sad, fragile like a glass trophy. Part of me was like, the sadness mean he's sober. Numb ain't the same as healed. But depression a sneaky op. It'll jump you when your back turned. We linked in Vegas fall 2021. I gave him his gold plaque for So Icy Boys too. I wanted him to feel celebrated for living as much as for charting. He smiled big that day. None of us knew another plaque would outlive him. Then the arrest. Warrant on him. Police find him knocked out at an intersection, seatbelt on, windows down, ice on, asleep at a four-way like life hit pause. Perks and lean got him lost in public. Could have been robbed or worse. They took him hospital first, then jail, then thankfully to a longer program, around 45 days. He came out talking different. Gucci, I was scared. I could have crashed, I told him. At least you alive. Big Grim Reaper dodged death again. He moved to outpatient, kept saying he's staying away from folks, focusing on visits, still not feeling like himself. Work in progress, better than pretending healed. Then a few weeks later, the text hit. Scars gone. I was in Memphis. My brain wouldn't process it. Gone where? Called back. Gone like gone. 22 years old. December 22nd, 2022. PILLZ at his girl's spot. Accidental overdose. Mentor grief feel different. Feel like watching your younger self die. I wanted him to make it. Low-key, I started this book when he first called me breaking down, to show him how parallel our storms was, that he ain't alone. I ain't get to put it in his hands. Lost him, and lost a piece of me with him. Truth is, I already knew loss before that. When I chose change in 2016, I ain't know I'd have to mourn the old me to welcome the new. Old Gucci built a lot, label, hits, stages sold out, but he was sick. Addict mind, crashing out, nearly died too many times. He carried me 37 years, then I had to lay him to rest in order to live. Seeing Scar go the way the old me could have went, that cut deep. Sometimes recovery don't go as planned. Sometimes the demon win. Sometimes you can't save the ones you love, even if they beg God for help and you do everything right. Pain don't play fair. Back in 2013, they stamped me with labels. Bipolar, paranoid schizophrenia. I ain't know what them words meant, thought it was just paper to keep me out of prison, came through third parties I ain't trust. But the description low-key matched the fear I wouldn't name. Something off in my head, mood swinging like doors in a storm. In the hood, crazy mean unpredictable. And unpredictable gets you killed outside, frozen out in studios, laughed out boardrooms. Accepting that diagnosis back then would have meant admit I ain't in control. I wasn't ready. Years later, when I look back, all the signs was on billboards. A lot of that wiring started in Bessemer, Alabama. I was 5 when I watched the Klan march through my hometown. White hoods and flags, some Confederate, some American, like they the same sermon. Whole town out watching. If that's America, then the message to black kids like me was loud. Nobody give a fuck about you. They even had a sign right at the limits, welcome the Klan, hooded man on a horse, welcome Bess. Number, 20 Moose Park for rallies and crosses burning. That foundation seeped into the dirt. By the time I came up, it lived in the air. You 6 years old running to school, 'cause walking too slow get rocks, dogs, sometimes bullets thrown at you. Police, please. When I ain't run the white blocks to Jonesboro Elementary, I took the long way down the tracks. Mama still worried. That stress baked into a baby brain. Stadium Grill sold good food, but if you black, you order out back by the trash, eat by the dumpsters. Hobo Joes wouldn't even do that. Saw happy white families through glass while my stomach growled, knew I couldn't step in. Jim Crow gone, but the undertone never left the party. It just took off the name tag. That kind of daily humiliation put a twist in how you see yourself and the world. My daddy hated white folks off life experience. Pupils widened with rage when you mentioned them. I ain't carry his exact list, but I learned his rule. Once trust broken, it's over. Bessemer small on a map, but it loomed big in who I became. When I say 10710, that's my granddaddy house. 1017 First Avenue, home base for my story. We moved to Georgia 'cause gangs started popping heavy, and mama wasn't letting my brother get chewed up by that. Years later, I slid back to trap and added to the same statistics I hate now. I own that. Folks sent me TikToks saying Bessemer most dangerous in America. Violent crime 9 times the national rate. Young me would have worn that like a chain. Grown me see sick people pointing guns at other sick people. Kids repping micro gangs by blocks, dissing each other on songs. Confessions all on YouTube while the news nod along. Vigils turn into scenes. A rapper killed at the same gas station he shot a video at. His daddy and sister shot at the vigil next day. Mass shootings down the road. Jails and funeral homes the busiest businesses. You can't even feel safe mourning. When that's the ecosystem, what you expect. You either isolate or you find community. And sometimes community look like revenge dressed up as family. It's a loop. I think that constant fear, that public dehumanizing, it primed my brain for mood storms. Studies say racism trauma raise PTSD odds. PTSD connects to mood disorders and addiction. Crime-heavy environments flood you with stress chemicals, warp your sleep, make violence feel normal. I ain't read none of that as a boy. I lived it. So when the doc read me diagnoses in my 30s, I finally saw the kid running to school, the teen watching Klan ghosts linger on menus and doorways, the young man numbing pain with hustle and pharmaceuticals. I ain't stand a chance? Maybe. But I'm still standing. I left Bessemer to save my life. Tried to get family to move too. Cheap houses ain't worth a coffin. I carry 10-7-10 in my blood, but I don't bring cameras back to put targets on my people. Some doors, once you close them, gotta stay closed for your sanity. So when I heard Scar say he was done, I heard more than a kid tired. I heard that same old bomb humming in the wires. I did everything I could. We got him help. He fought. He smiled again. Then the pain circled back and took him. I wrote this because I couldn't let that be the last word. If you hear me now, understand. I ain't glorifying nothing. I'm surviving it. For my children, my wife, my brothers, for anybody walking that rope with the wind trying to throw them off. Some nights I still hear it, tick, 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 but I walk anyway. And I pray somebody out there hears this and realizes they ain't alone on that line. Real talk. Chapter 2. Broken mirrors. What's the point of shutting my eyes if they just gon' snap back open? I lay there heavy as a safe, heartbeat tapping like hi-hats, and right when sleep creep close enough to touch, bam, I'm up, chest full of engine noise. After a while, I quit that fake fight with the pillow. Bed got uses, but rest ain't gotta be one of them. I start pacing, shadow on the wall jogging laps with me, watch the moon clock out and the sun clock in like they tag teaming over my head. Folks thought I ain't sleep 'cause I'm lit. Truth is, I'm wired. When your career start with niggas trying to erase you, your body keep a lookout even when your eyes closed. I was a guard dog with no off switch. 48 hours straight sometimes, Molly on my tongue, pride in my chest, telling myself winners don't nap. Make a song, make a play, make some money to buy hours in the booth to make more songs to make more money. Loop it, rinse it, repeat it. No one told me the quickest way to trigger an episode is starving your brain of silence. I told myself I was built different. My battery charged itself. That was a lie I liked the taste of. Funny thing, I've been a bookhead before I was a blockhead. Mama a teacher, chalk on her fingers, love in her eyes, piles of paperbacks stacked like little cities. She had me sounding out scripture before kindergarten, standing up in Bible study reading loud, feeling that little ripple in the room when a voice fill it. I liked the ripple. Honor roll without breaking a sweat, mouth too sharp for my age, trying to act older 'cause my big brother Victor's 7 years up and I wanted in the rooms he walked in. He brought me rap. Rap brought me a reason to stare out the window longer. Before 10, we slid from Bessemer to East Atlanta, Mountain Park Apartments. Thin walls, thick dreams. Me and Juice, OJ the Juice Man, in the same building, poking trash with a stick and a nail for 50 a week, then stacking cans for extra tens. Little hustles teach big math. Flip this into that, keep the river moving. 6th grade, I started selling small for my brother out at Cedar Grove. He'd toss me 30 every 10 sets. I add my own little tax when I pass him off, keep the skim, smile sweet. Baby business. 7th grade, I switched schools back to my side and linked with a partner who hustled prettier than me. Money always on him, clothes too clean to be legal. And we run that line from then till graduation. Mama called our area a drug trap. She wasn't hating, she was labeling the truth. All I saw was exits made of green lights. I told Mama I'd take a year off then slide to community college. Year off turned to a sprint through the wrong doors, caught a charge. Judge hit me with a weird sandwich. 9 months school, then 90 days jail. School then jail? I shrugged. First day I sold the books back, turned the refund into product, swore I'd be careful. Still clocked in at a little job, but my heart wasn't there. I needed a louder hustle. I'd been writing poems since a jit, handing them to Mama like homework for extra love. Turning cadence into comfort was easy work. So I pointed my money at rap, cut my first CD before I checked into the county countdown. Soon as I touched back down, I hit my 7th grade dog and said, let's go halves. Studio time, beats, pressing, whatever. I wrote verses for both of us, rolled weed, hit the booth, laid records like a machine. Make money, make music, don't sleep, repeat. But invoices keep adding weight to your pockets till they feel like anchors. Producer want 500 a beat, Engineer want 50 an hour. My partner trapping heavier than me so his cut ain't sweat. My stacks start melting. 20,000 to 6 quick. Pressure make your ears ring. He wanted us independent and isolated. I knew we needed features, networks, saturation. I started branching out with folks my brother knew, neighbors with sauce, anyone with a sound that matched. He ain't like it, drifted. I ain't blame him, but I wasn't letting my dream respect anybody's comfort zone but mine. The part I ain't see was how I was training my own brain wrong. No sleep plus constant stress is like whispering the worst sermon in your ear all day. You can't stop. If you stop, you die. Until the lie feel like scripture. Cult tactics, just me on both sides of the rope. I swore I was a genius, 3.0 without trying. Give me an extra hour of focus and I'd be 4.0, straight up. But even the quickest engine will seize with no oil. Even the clearest mirror will crack if you heat it and freeze it, heat it and freeze it. I was the smartest nigga in my mind, blind to the bomb under the hood. Then lean slid on stage, promethazine and codeine, sound like pharmacy Latin, feel like cotton on a wound. Most folks sip it, Sprite and candy in the cup and drift, ease, pain gone, head heavy. I ain't never been big on the candy, sometimes Sprite, sometimes whatever soda was around. First few times, it just smoothed me like a finger over denim. I'd smoke, sip, hit the club, then wake up to calls. Gucci, you was moving funny last night, bruh. Somebody spike you? Couldn't remember slices of the night, chalked it up to being too high. Then I met the spoon. We in Alabama, late. Waffle House lights buzzing like flies, plate still hot. Girl I'm dealing with, her home girl, and some dude she brought. We smoke, we laugh, then bro pull out a brown bottle and a spoon like grandma about to medicate a cough. No soda, no foam, no candy, just straight syrup. He scoop, hand it round like communion. I take it. It tastes like sleep wearing church shoes. I take another. Spoon go round like a blunt. Everybody look normal. Me? Something tilt. Not drunk. Not high. Tilt. Like the room leaned and forgot to stand up again. I felt both heavy and gone. Like my body sat in the booth, but my soul went to the bathroom and took the long way back. Little flashes, sound cut, sight pop, sound roar, sight smear. When we finally slid, I ain't sleep. Next day, I was sandpaper inside, weak, unfocused, paranoia tiptoeing up my spine. We still hit the club that night cause money don't care about your feelings, and I threw my partner one of my Hawks throwbacks I bought for 500, wore the other to match. I take a sip and watch the world through the bottom of the glass and it stay warped even after I set it down, like I'm living inside a fisheye lens. Bass punching my eardrums, faces look like masks cut wrong, dark feels darker. Then the whispers. He don't like you. I glance at the owner by the bar. Known him for years. My family know his folks. But the voice feel like truth. He think you trying to rob him. Man, fuck that. I don't need this nigga money. He better stop staring. He wants you out. He gon' call the police. Call him then. Fuck him. Fuck them. Everybody in here looking at me like I stole something. You not welcome. He hates you. He think you a thief. Bet I'ma sit right here and steal his joy. Who that tall nigga in the corner? Why he pointing? I point back. He point again. Fuck you. I'm not crazy. This my city. I own this block. I stood up. So did he. We walked at each other like mirrors with legs. I cocked back cause he cocked back cause silence for a half breath. Then the room screamed glass. I looked down, knuckles leaking, glittered with specks. I look up and ain't no tall nigga. Just my own face chopped into puzzle pieces by a wall of shattered mirrors. Little triangle eye here, half a mouth there, Picasso Gucci laughing at me. Glass crunch under my sneakers like snow. My fist sparkle red and chrome under the club lights and I started laughing. Not joy, not comedy, a sound your chest make when your brain slide out the driver's seat. They say 7 years of bad luck when you break a mirror. I said out loud, run it. Next morning my body felt like a burnt wire. My dog looked at me and didn't judge, just handed the long look people give when they love you but don't got the manual. He asked for the jersey back out of habit. I waved it off. Keep it. I wasn't arguing over fabric with glass still sleeping in my skin. On the ride to the A, he said maybe somebody slipped something in my drink. I let him have that theory. I ain't have the words yet to map what happened to my head. Embarrassment burned slow. Anger burned quick. Both was cooking me. I kept thinking about that spoon. Should have said nah, should have stuck to the weed. But you young, you think you bulletproof, so you try shit twice just in case the first time was a fluke. After that night, I can track a straight line. Every drug stepped on the gas of the spiral. But if you ask me where the drop started, I'll point to that chrome spoon under bad diner lights. Why me, though? Years later, I'm on the phone with Dr. Joe, good brother who talked to athletes and people like me who live under stadium lights, asking him why my brain broke when other folks swim in the same pool and just come out wrinkled. I'm counting sips out loud like an alibi. Maybe 3, maybe 5, maybe 7, and none of the numbers mattered. He told me about Len Bias. Second pick in '86, Boston. 2 days later, Coke hit his heart wrong and turned the lights out. He might have did it 50 times with no problem, and the 51st took him. Might have been his first. The point ain't counting. The point is how a body sometimes got the exact combo that unlocks catastrophe. With me, it wasn't my heart. It was the switchboard in my skull. Still, before the spoon, the stage was set. The sleep I refused, the stress I wore like jewelry, the childhood of sprinting through white neighborhoods hoping rocks and dogs and bullets didn't pick me for tag. That's a lot of voltage on young wires. Moving to the A taught me ambition. The block taught me urgency. The studio taught me I could outwork doubt. The streets taught me the feds don't care about none of that. I'd be in the booth at 4 a.m., words pouring faster than the engineer could save sessions, thinking I was outsmarting the clock. Really, I was teaching my brain to live like a siren. Always on, never off, always loud, never still. I didn't know you can hypnotize yourself with hustle. I remember thinking I was different smart. Look around and wonder if folks could even read, and that ain't me clowning. That's the arrogance of a kid who ain't met gravity yet. I didn't know a brilliant engine still need rest or it'll grind. I didn't know mirrors can lie by omission, show you the man but not the crack forming from the edge in. Couple months after the mirror night, the flicker in my vision turned to a strobe I couldn't control. Little blackouts, little edits in the film of a day. Sometimes I'd be regular me, sometimes I'd float above myself watching, sometimes I was sure people were whispering war plans under their breath. I'd laugh at nothing, and nothing would laugh back. Gangway to a storm. When I think on it now, I can draw it like a playbook. Sleep debt plus pressure plus chemicals equals door. You open it once, it remembers your touch. Back then, all I knew was to double down. If the mind wobble, anchor it with work. If the night too long, flood it with music. If the heart race, drown it in noise. Studio, club, road, repeat. My circle's shrinking 'cause I ain't trust nobody. And the ones who loved me could tell I was glitching, but ain't know what wire to jiggle. Pride keep a lot of men from saying help. Paranoia keep a lot of men from believing help real. There's a version of this story where I say, then I learned, then I got better, right here. That ain't how it went. This the part where the camera catch my hand, still pocked with tiny scars from glass. This the part where I give a little smirk I ain't proud of, and say I laughed when the mirror broke, 'cause sometimes the devil don't need to scare you, he just needs you to think you invincible. This the part where I remember giving away that $500 jersey like a penance, little token to say, let's forget this city ever happened, even though cities live in you after you leave. If I rewind hard enough, I can still smell Waffle House coffee and halogen, hear that spoon clink on styrofoam. I can still see the club owner's silhouette and the tall nigga who was me, both of us raising fists at a reflection. That night taught me my biggest enemy got my same height, same tattoos, same grin. You can't knock that nigga out. You gotta learn his language, learn his tells, learn when he lying to you about being okay. Back then, I didn't have a translator. I had bravado. I had work ethic. I had sleep debt and codeine sugar rushes and a whole city watching. Bad cocktail. Years later, when I started calling the madness by its first name and not a nickname, Dr. Joe's story about Lynn stuck. Some hits you don't get to prepare for. Some doors you kick open once and spend the rest of your life building a better lock. That spoon was my door. That mirror was my omen. And every time the lights flicker now, I know what room I'm in. I know where the exit is. Back then, all I knew was, if the mirror break, don't turn around. Walk through, keep moving. Laugh if you have to. Pretend the blood is glitter. Tell yourself you got 7 years of bad luck to burn and start the bonfire with your own breath. I ain't proud of how many nights I treated my brain like a rental. I ain't ashamed to say I ain't no better either. I'm just telling you the real how it ran. Some of y'all think the demons show up with horns. Mine came as a spoon, a song at 3 a.m., A glass wall reflecting a stranger, a jersey I didn't ask back for, a whisper in a loud room you can't prove is there. And if you listening close, you can hear the electricity under my words, the leftover buzz from too many nights awake. That's the hum I live with. That's the strobe I learned to breathe through. And that's why when I tell you I still hear it sometimes, click, flash, click, you believe me. I ain't mentioned 1017 in this part of the story, cause this was before the bricks got branded, before the family got stamped. But understand, even before the chain, the mindset that birthed 1017 was cooking. The insistence, the output, the spine. A lot of great things and a lot of broken things grow in the same soil. Back then, I watered everything the same. Now I know better. Back then, I was just a man standing in front of a wall of himself, swinging. Chapter 3. Pills and potions. Zay used to laugh like, bruh, I know what you on soon as you call at 4 a.m. talking about open the door. I need to record right now. He wasn't lying. On pills, I was ants in my veins excited. Eyes wide, jaw tight, words spilling faster than the beat. On lean, I got heavy. Voice drop an octave, pockets and pockets on my frame. Cadence, syrup, slow. Same studio, 2 different ghosts wearing my face. Some nights the world went smeared, like somebody rubbed Vaseline over the lens. I'd blink and the room still moved like a boat. Heart skipping rope, mouth dry like chalk, lungs forgetting how to be lungs. I ain't have a name for none of that. Anxiety, panic, whatever. All I knew was there was purple in a cup that could muffle it. Cracked them tiny bottles. Sprite kissed the syrup and it talked back. First sip crawled down my throat and tucked a blanket over the chaos. Second sip tucked me in. Numb turned the volume down on scared. Then I'd sprinkle a Molly on top and go numb and wired at the same time. 2 radio stations playing different songs in one head. I called it balance. Really, it was a tug of war and both sides were me. Pressure was the weather. Money for studio time, music to make so the money don't slow. Court dates floating over the week like storm clouds, praying the next blue lights ain't for me while I'm still ducking the last set. I told myself I was invincible. Really, I was making my brain a crash site, primed for episodes. One was already in the books. The next ones just needed a reason. No matter how twisted, I dragged into the booth. If Molly had the wheel, I rapped fast like the snare. If lean sat on me, I stretched vowels like rubber. Zaytoven peeped the switch in real time. We met 99. His daddy military, him cutting heads by day, making beats in the basement by night. He let my lil' cousin cut a record I wrote, Lil Buddy. Watched me coach him through bars, then told me to jump on them beats myself. From there, it was routine. I brush my teeth, call Zay round 6:30. If he ain't pick up, I call again and again till he do. We'd burn CDs in the morning, hear him rattle club speakers by midnight, ride home proud. He saw the best part of me. He saw the worst too. One day, 02, I walked in looking wild, hair grown out like a wolf, face fur rough, feet bare on concrete, laughing at nothing. Zay stared like, something in your drink? I wasn't talking to nobody, just slid down a wall and lived inside my own head. That wasn't lean yet. That was a storm warming up. From there, bags of money went to beats and cups in the same breath. Freedom stayed on a yo-yo. Charges, probation, little bids. Murder case hit 05, dropped in 06 while I sat 6 months on something else. 08. I'm back in, supposed to do a year, do 6. 10 home again, then another charge. Pattern printed itself. Jail dried me out by force. First 48 hours I'd sweat and spin, stomach a washing machine. I ain't even know to call it withdrawal. I called it reality landing. Come home clean, run to Zay, pick up a pen, then pour up like the cup was a welcome mat. Friend or foe? Some nights I couldn't tell. Studio etiquette got ugly. Why this shit so loud? I'd bark into a silence that could hold a candle. Pill hit my tongue and all was forgiven. A couple nights later, I'm at the club rolling, call Zay at 3. I'm pulling up with Shorty Low. We gotta cut one now. We laid trap money. Then I told him, nah, I ain't done. Slipped back in the booth to talk to my favorite girl in public, Molly. Headphones on, heart thumping, I mumbled that infamous little prayer. Is you rolling? Bitch, I might be. It wasn't a question. It was a flag in the ground. East Atlanta in my chest, bean on my tongue, truth in my teeth. I titled it PILLZ. Played it for the homies first, waiting on smiles. They looked everywhere but my eyes, embarrassed for me. I dropped it anyway. City loved it. Clubs loved it. The world grabbed it with both hands. Felt like vindication. Like y'all ain't see the vision but the streets did. Later, I understood what else it was. a green light. I didn't invent pill popping, but when Gucci sang to it and won, a lot of kids heard permission. Back where I'm from, we used to clown pill takers. Junkies were customers, not models. The trap was a business, and a junkie can't count the register. Then here I go, proud of a record that made inside feel seen while outside cheered, and the line got blurry. Hustler slid into customer without even changing shoes. Lean crept wider after that. Xanax and perks lined up behind it like little cousins at a cookout. Maybe that wave would have broke anyway. Maybe I was just a loud surfboard folks noticed. Either way, my voice fed it. If Gucci do it, it's culture. They ain't see the toll, how my breath shortened, how my face puffed, how my sentences slowed down like they wore ankle weights. They saw cars, chains, shows, a bald head, and a get-money gut. Success costume. Inside, I was triaging panic with chemicals. Between bids, I'd come home with a fresh promise to myself, sober skin humming like new wires, and run right back to the ritual. Pen in one hand, cup in the other, telling myself it'd make the words slide out easier. Maybe it did. It also slid the floor under me. In them moments, I ain't blamed the devil or the law or the envy. I blamed whatever made the room stop spinning for 5 minutes. That's the trick. Relief got a voice that sound like God when you heard him. Zay could clock the change by the first 8 bars. You heavy today, he'd say when the syrup sat on my timing. Or, you wired, when the pills turned me to a hummingbird. He kept letting me in, even when I woke him at sunrise to brag about a canary yellow vet just to get in the door and cut 10 more records. He saw the big round eyes I carried when sleep went missing and asked what's wrong with them. I ain't have the vocabulary yet. I had cups and capsules and a city cheering the product, not the person. I can't dodge what PILLZ did. It shifted the room. It told kids you could put a bean on your tongue and still be a boss. It made designer addiction look like designer fashion, expensive, curated, fun. I feel a weight about that now. Not performative guilt, real weight. 'Cause I was narrating my own slide and calling it a wave. The song was more than art imitating life. It was a broadcast. I'm getting high on my own supply. And once the hustler becomes the customer, the empire starts eating itself from the inside. I ain't gonna rewrite history to make me look noble. I was in a state of emergency, sprinting through a house full of smoke holding a microphone like an oxygen mask. Some nights I won. Some nights the smoke won. But if you ever loved them records and wondered what they cost, this the receipt. Sleepless eyes, courtroom benches, detox sweats, friends who stopped meeting my gaze, Zay's phone ringing before the birds woke, a cup that always needed a refill, and a city that sang along while I fed a hunger that never said enough. That's Pills and Potions. That's the chapter. And I'm still here to read it back to you, voice steady now, cup empty, pen heavier than it used to be. Chapter 4. Ice Cream Fever Dreams. They say a camera don't lie, but it damn sure don't tell the whole truth either. Them flashes be bright enough to blind you, but nobody ever see what's going on behind your eyes. Back in them days, I was moving like a nigga running on fumes, high, paranoid, unstoppable, and broken all at once. The world was screaming Gucci, but I ain't even know who that was anymore. Felt like I was watching myself from outside my own body, like a movie stuck on fast forward, every scene louder than the last. I remember that bus ride Harmony talked about. Whole squad piled up, bass thumping, everybody geeked. Guns on the screen, shots ringing through them cheap speakers. Folks would have thought we watching horror movies, but to me, that was peace. Sound of chaos always been my lullaby. When you been living in it your whole life, silence starts sounding suspicious. I ain't know that was me re-traumatizing my own mind, relaxing by feeding the monster I was trying to kill. But back then, that shit felt normal. By '09, I had 2 versions of me fighting for the mic. One was the trap god, unshakable, rich, undefeated. The other was just Radric, tired, hollow, drowning in codeine and pills. I'd walk into them industry meetings, lights buzzing overhead, and them voices in my head start whispering. They ain't fucking with you, bruh. They trying to rob you. I'd whisper back, nah, they here for business. Then the voice get louder. Business is robbing you. Next thing I know, I'm shouting in a boardroom, chest tight, hands sweating, staff looking scared as hell while I fight invisible demons. My temper became its own press run. I was supposed to be talking deals, but I was too busy fighting ghosts. Soon as I'd cool off, I'd slide to the studio, still twitching, Still high, record 3-4 songs like nothing happened. Some days I ain't show up to shows. Others I pulled up late, wild-eyed, talking crazy. I ain't even realized how much money I was leaving on the table because I was too busy chasing the illusion of control. Pulling pistols on people over crumbs while losing bags big enough to change generations. By fall 09, I end up in rehab. Again. They wanted me to dry out. I told myself I'd play along, but as soon as them cravings hit, I was sneaking out the door. Had an album dropping, mixtape buzzing, money flowing. I wasn't about to miss that wave, even if it drowned me. I recorded Wasted while I was literally wasted, singing about what was killing me. Then I hit the BET Awards, performing that same song on stage, cup still warm, chain heavy, crowd chanting Wasted back at me. Whole arena rocking while I smiled through detox sweats. Soon as the lights cut, they made me film a PSA talking about sobriety. I'm taking it serious. Y'all be safe. I ain't believe a word, but it sounded good on camera. That's the job, right? Next day, I was back behind bars. The State versus Radric Davis dropped while I was locked in. Platinum plaques hanging on walls I couldn't even see. Iron bars instead of stage lights. It was bittersweet. My biggest album, my smallest world. When I got out, I was on fire inside. Felt cheated, angry, ready to burn down everything just to feel something. Then came that night in LA, the VMAS. 95 degrees, I'm in full leather, hoodie zipped up, ice cream chain swinging, looked like a villain fresh out the comics. Police everywhere. Them voices start whispering again. They ain't here for no security, they here for you. Fuck that, I said out loud. They just doing they job. They gon' stop you from getting in. So I walked straight up on them, said, y'all gon' fucking let me in or what? I don't even know how I ain't get arrested right there. Camera flashes started hitting. Tick, tick, tick. Them lights trigger something ugly. I could feel the manic buzz crawl up my neck. 10 grand in my back pocket felt like a bomb. I pulled it out and threw it. At the cameras, at the cops, at the air. Hundreds flapping around like green pigeons, people scrambling, grabbing bills off the carpet. For a second, that chaos felt like applause. But when the money was gone, silence hit harder than any hangover. Waka looking at me like, bruh, what the fuck? I ain't have an answer. Next thing I know, I'm storming backstage, people scattering. Caught Katy Perry's big blue eyes looking scared as hell. Sat next to Master P, chest pounding, tears sliding behind my shades. Couldn't tell if I was crying because I embarrassed myself or because I couldn't stop. That's when I learned the word manic the hard way. Ain't no high scarier than that. When your brain won't rest, your heart won't slow, and you can't tell what's real or just the devil changing channels. When it all came down, I tried to clean up again, but it ain't stick. I'd record for hours, still numb. I remember one session, I was so fucked up I could barely form words, but somehow stayed on beat. That track became I'm a Star. I believed it too. Couldn't talk straight, but I swore I was shining. Then one day I'm sitting in that tattoo chair, needle gliding near my eye. Artist asked me 15 times if I'm sure. I said, keep going. Didn't flinch. Didn't feel nothing. That's the part that broke me. Not the pain, but the lack of it. I was chasing sensation, any sensation, and came up empty. So I kept going back. One under my eye, another under the other, then my forehead. Names of people who came and went, trying to make it sting. Still nothing. Only thing I could feel was anger. Clean, sharp, familiar. That's when I knew something was real wrong. They sent me to court looking dead behind the eyes. Judge took one look and called me unfit. Sent me to Anchor Hospital, said I needed treatment. Felt more like a dorm than a ward. Quiet halls, folks shuffling around, me sitting still as a stone. Doctor said I was free to go after 4 days. You ain't crazy, just high. He ain't know my brain been battling itself for years. I should have stayed, but the streets was calling. I walked out that place still numb, like a ghost wearing Gucci skin. Couple days later, I walked past this random tattoo spot on 10th Street, saw that tattoo sign hanging, and something clicked. Walked in and told the artist, I want some rock and roll shit, an ice cream cone on my face right here. 3 scoops, brrr on the cone. He tried to talk me out of it, said they don't tattoo that close to the eye. I said, nigga, do it. Needle hit skin, no pain. When it was done, I looked in the mirror and saw a stranger smiling back. Lightning bolts shooting from his cheek to his brow. By the time I hit Patchwork Studio, the whole city knew. News everywhere. Gucci Mane gets ice cream tattoo. My phone blowing up. Label calling talking about marketing genius. I wanted to throw that phone through a wall. They ain't see no genius. They saw a meltdown they could monetize. I wasn't trying to make a brand move. I was begging for somebody to notice I was dying inside. But folks ain't see pain. They saw promotion. Promoters printed flyers with Dr. King's face rocking my ice cream cone. Niggas in the A getting the same tattoo, laughing like it was a movement. I was disgusted, but too numb to fight it. They paid to see the circus, and I was the clown. I started getting booked just for people to stare at my face. They called it legendary. I called it hell. Even worse, the people closest to me started eating off it. Features that used to be 20 racks going for 10, cause I ain't sober enough to argue. Homies skimming 2-3 grand off the top, telling me it's all love. I'd hit the club for 10K, give half away by mistake. Wake up broke, confused, thinking I just balled out. They knew I wasn't right, but money make folks blind. When I finally caught that next charge, I ain't even remember what for. Rehab again. Sober court hearing, fresh haircut, trying to look sane. They ain't buying it. Judge hit me with 6 months. Told myself maybe I deserved it. I sat in that cell, staring at the wall, realizing they all called me crazy, but never once tried to heal me. I should have never been released from that hospital. Should have had somebody say, bruh, stay, get help. Instead, they gave me rope and told me to climb out the pit myself. That ice cream tattoo became my scarlet letter. Half cry for help, half middle finger to the world. And when the world laughed, I laughed too, 'cause that's what I do. You clown yourself before they clown you. Years later, I can say it plain. That cone on my cheek ain't art, it's evidence. It's the picture of a man who couldn't feel shit trying to prove he still existed. Every scoop, every bolt, every line, proof I was still breathing. I wear it now not with pride, but with memory. 'Cause the moment that needle touched my skin and I felt nothing, that was rock bottom disguised as brr. I ain't never taken that off. It's my mirror now. A reminder that even when the world ice cold, you gotta thaw yourself out. Ain't nobody else gonna do it for you. Chapter 5. Tipping point. Hair talking to me again. I don't even mean like barbershop talk. I mean my scalp thumping like a subwoofer under church pews. Hot pins jamming through every pore. Pressure building, balloon in the sun type pressure. I bent over the sink and told Keish, my hair hurt. And even that sound dumb coming out my mouth. But that's the only English my nerves could find. When it got like that, I ain't argue with it. I grabbed clippers and skated them straight to skin, no guard, no map, just pure survival. Tracks all crooked, patches missing, little Z's and lightning bolts where my hand slipped. I ain't care. It ain't fashion, it's triage. If I could have shaved to skull, I would have. Sometimes I ain't even make it to the chair. Just in the bathroom like I'm putting out a fire only I can see. I learned later they call that cortisol or some doctor word like that. Back then, I just knew. When the balloon get tight, the razor the pin. After a while, it turned ritual. Keish would block the door like, you not leaving the house like that, and I'd be looking past her like a lost dog at the highway. I look in mirrors and don't see nobody. Eyes dead, belly loud. Fit cost a band, but the body looked broke. Internet had jokes. Lean belly, bald head, wop going supervillain. Kids started copping my silhouette like it was merch. They ain't know the uniform was pain. Names started switching too. When I was cool and focused, I was Gucci. Studio clean versus tight, business handled, press run type Gucci. When the weather in my head changed, them other boys got the wheel. Guwop texted with the period after every word like, this, here, mean, business. Then wop, no goo. That boy ain't even pretend to be polite. Every message a punch. LaFleur only came out to stunt, diamonds laughing, mink giggling. Mr. Davis wore a suit to the meeting and demanded respect like he bill you hourly. I ain't split personalities 'cause I thought it was cute. Them was real switches, sides of me fighting over the aux in my skull. When WAP ran point, the tempo different. Voice slower, meaner. I hear it when I run back the records. Cadence like a blade. Arrogance ain't the right word, but it's close enough to grab. Whole stretch where I was moving like the law of gravity took a day off for me. No sleep, just fumes and purple syrup clouding my chest. Brain sprinting, body on dial-up. Every little sound felt like a dare. I kept telling myself, sit down, lay low, let this pass. And the answer that came back was a laugh. Pressure made everything feel underwater. Breath snagged in my throat. Only thing that let me exhale was aggression. Some folks fold inward when they break. I aimed outward. I felt like the city had 1,000 hands reaching for me, so I kept my fingers curled round something cold to tell them, don't. Tick, tick, tick. I hit my lawyer's office before the mall. That's the part folks forget, 'cause the Lennox clip went viral. I marched in Drew's spot hot and hollow, jaw tight, eyes like a blackout. Mine told me he ain't fighting hard enough, that he was playing nice with people who wanted me buried. I ain't say please advise. I lifted the issue like metal got an answer. Staff whisper and call the police like it's a spell. Drew ain't flinch, ain't cower, didn't reach, didn't twitch. Just looked back steady like he seen worse storms than me. When the boys came, he talked smooth, and somehow I walked out with my feet, not in cuffs, just minus a pistol. Beat the level, heart jackhammering, windscreen flashing. That fake victory juice hit my brain and told me I was on a run. Take me to Lennox. I said it like it was communion. Inside, Louis pointed at mannequins like soldiers on a chessboard. All that. Now Card said, nah, that decline sliced deeper than any diss. Shame turned to heat in my ribs. I barked at my day-to-day on speaker like she personally unplugged the bank. Dude walked by with his girl like, what's up, Gucci? My head translated it into threat. I squared up in the middle of the mall, swung first like we signed a contract. Girl jumped between, another woman appeared out of nowhere, soft hand on my elbow, voice like a seatbelt click. Come on, big dog. Let's step. I don't know her name to this day. She steered me out the hurricane with 3 gentle words and a steady walk. Outside, she say she a soldier. I believe it. The way she handled me felt like battlefield medicine. She drove me to the stew, let me use her phone. I paced rooms I paid for like I'd never seen them. Itchy, nervous system playing drumline in my teeth. I stuffed an AR in a bag because an empty hand felt like drowning. Keep that pointed at the floor, she told me, never blinking. The calm in her tone cooled a corner of me for 10 minutes. That's all I had to bargain with. After she left, I wandered to the old blocks by muscle memory. Same gas station, same bus stop ghost. Folks from back then saw a platinum plaque walking barefoot inside a storm. My guy in the food truck tried to hand me wings. For a second, I eyed the register like it owed me. Then the old code kicked in, and I took the plate instead. Somebody mama scooped me to the studio, 'cause the hood still had a soft spot for Radric under the smoke. Next hour, I was across the street in traffic, moving like cars were light. My lil homie waved me to the passenger seat. Come on, big bruh. Crowd growing, cameras out, people whispering he straight. He said to them, he just going through it. I snapped back. I ain't your buddy. And even as it left my mouth, I heard the hurt in it. When strangers stopped feeding that sick electricity, I went where love lived. That's the ugly part. Demons run home with you. I ended up on a friend porch dinging the bell with a Glock like it was a door knocker. Nobody came outside. Smart. They called the law. When the cars boxed me in, I ain't feel fear, just a cold crown slipping over my face. Put the gun down, they said. Put the gun down, I answered back, chest out like I was armored. Truth is, I felt invisible, like bullets passed through fog. The trigger cascade kept cascading. In between the wreckage, I'd pick up the phone and spill the worst parts of my head on Twitter. Hated on half the industry. Told lies I made feel like memories. Shared details you don't share. Next day I say I was hacked. Next week I stood in it and told the world I was tripping, addicted, sorry. Internet love a circus, but I was the clown that slept in the suit. The only number I could say without stutter was Keisha's. Call Keisha, I told whoever was near when the clock finally ran out. She caught the first flight, landed to a ghost. Walked in my room and found a body with the engine still humming. You high? She asked. Just weed, I lied. Throw it away. I argued about stems like it was oxygen. She grabbed my list of priorities out my shaking hand and slid her own name down a line, told me to fix the rest before I tried to hold her. That type of love ain't soft. It's surgical. The charges stacked like dirty plates. I pled because I ain't got a lie left that could buy me a future. They took my guns, 5 racks, and promised me some counseling on the other side. Judge talk was concrete. Cages don't echo like studios. 11 months county and federal holding felt like waiting rooms in hell. When they put me on a bus to Terre Haute, I pressed my forehead to the glass and tried to picture daylight. Terre Haute looked like a school that got bit by a fence dragon. Brick smile, razor wire teeth. They walked me to orientation like the first day of 9th grade, except you already know what kind of senior hazing time does. They told me I'm going to a spot called the Challenge Program. I ain't apply. The paper applied for me. Incentive was small but golden. No celly. Quiet is a luxury. I took it. It wasn't no soft camp. Penitentiary rules. Most of the men in that unit was lifers. They ain't studied for parole boards. They studied to stay human. Counselors came with binders and stories. Class at 8, group at 10, homework in your soul till lights out. They run scenarios with you like drills. You in the van, somebody spark a blunt. What you say? You at a cookout, cup come round. What you do? They teach you how to leave without fighting nobody, how to choose your mouth over your hands. Sounds small, but small tools fix big leaks. I ain't get time shaved for attendance. The prize for me was that little unopened envelope in my chest that said different. I filled my day with iron, pages, and prayers I didn't always say out loud. I ate on purpose, slept on purpose, stretched on purpose. My body ain't remember what maintenance felt like. After a month, the sweat smelled like work again, not poison. The yard taught me a lot. Not just the program. The way lifers carry themselves when tomorrow ain't promised and yesterday don't end. I seen some of the worst corners of prison in past bids. Roaches like roommates, heat like a fist, ice delivered in buckets like it was mercy. But here, for once, I felt structure. And still, chaos peeked through the blinds. Fights happened. Knives existed. But inside that unit, we had rules that made it possible to think. I was a fly on the wall sometimes. Other times, I was the man in the mirror rehearsing who I wanted to be when the mirror ain't caged. Ralph O'Neal became my folk in there. Big sentence on him like a mountain, but he moved with peace you only see on monks and men who already buried the old version. He'd slide me a book, I'd slide it back with underlines. We'd talk about discipline like it was hustle. He had his own miracles later. Laws changed, doors cracked, ankle monitors beeped. But before all that, we treated every day like a set we had to clear. Watching him tackle the same demons from a different angle made me believe mine could be trained too. I remember the first time I jogged 6 laps without tasting codeine ghosts. Air burned clean. Mind sat still. The noise in my head got quieter than the yard on count time. I started noticing little stuff. How light move across cinder block at noon. How my mood shift after I read instead of scroll. How my hands stop shaking when I eat chicken and rice instead of candy and smoke. I ain't become a saint. I became a student. Letters from outside stacked in my locker. Business still existed. Artists, clearances, releases, and I tended it with the same pen I used to scribble push-up numbers. I told my people, when I touch down, it's water, weights, and work. No more nights I don't remember with names I can't pronounce. No more letting pain pick my outfits. No more slapping marketing genius on self-destruction and selling tickets to the crash. Folks ask me when it flipped. Ain't a switch. It's a slow turn of a big wheel. But there was a moment. In the chapel, one Thursday, sunlight crawled through a dirty window and cut a square on the floor. I stepped in it between groups. Warmth hit my bald head, and for the first time in forever, the balloon didn't swell. I ain't here ticking, just breath. In, out, regular. Not like I beat the case, not like 10-7-10 chain shining, just regular breath. I stood there too long and a CO told me keep it moving. I smiled and moved, but I kept that square of sun in my pocket. I won't lie like prison saved me. Prison stopped me, gave me a wall to hit that didn't bleed. The saving part was choices I made on the inside of that stop. Whole lot of men walked the same halls and left with the same ghost strapped to their ankles. I ain't better than them. I just got tired of dying slow. When I think back to that mall, the porch, the office, them tweets, the soldier lady who steered me out the whirlpool, it feel like movie reels playing out of order. All I know is when the credits finally rolled on that version of me, the person who walked into the next scene wasn't bulletproof or holy. He was awake. He knew his scalp could hurt cause his brain was on fire, not cause he needed to look harder. He knew a gun feel like power till it make your mama cry. He knew love that tells you flush it ain't hate. And he knew if he ever hear that tick again, he got tools now. Cold water, long run, quiet room, call somebody who speaks soldier to keep the bomb from being everybody's problem. I ain't looked through people no more. I looked at them. And when I caught the mirror looking back, I finally recognized the man. Chapter 6. Mismanaged money talk slick to a young nigga. Dime bags felt like pennies in a wishing well, and I ain't never been the type to hope. I make. I told myself I'm gonna get rich, period, stamp, no footnote. If somebody gotta get stepped on, lace the forces. Brain cloudy as Atlanta summers, mission clear as a headshot. Stack paper, build the label, push the sound till the city bend with it. I knew the raps was there. I just ain't have the fuel, so I took it. No rubbers on the risk, no mask on the morals. When that mean streak in me woke up, I'd be sharper than a box cutter. Some days I was slurry and smeared, ink running off the page. Other days, sights lined, breath slow, gun hand steady like a surgeon looking for arteries. Tunnel vision that still see the whole mall. I could aim at one face and count thumb taps on a phone 3 stores down. Call the laws if you want, bitch. The barrel ain't blinking. I ain't believe in consequence, only in outcome. Walk in broke, walk out paid. Collateral damage? That was a word for later. Then later walked in my visit room with a suit and a file. Your manager know things about you? My lawyer asked, voice low, eyes heavy. The things was whole neighborhoods, lists like grocery, spots, names, numbers, sins I half remembered or never did. And big bro manager, the man who had access to my bank, who parked my cars, who dialed my flights, had his finger on the intercom like he finna tell on the whole movie right while we begged the judge for time back. If this hit the bench, my lawyer said, they gon' say nah. Let it sleep. I swallowed that. Powerless feel like cold soup. The same nigga had been living like me while I wore khakis. Drove my foreign, wore my hoodies, slid a house in his name, treated my account like a water hose. $200K gone like a magic trick. When I pressed, he hit me with my bad, like that a receipt. Bro cut a check for half. Keish took it to the teller. Rubber stamp said clown, not good. Phone went dead after. I had to eat the loss. 100 bands. Couldn't swing on him from behind a gate. Couldn't risk more eyes on my dirt while I'm trying to shave months. Felt like throwing up pride and blood. Only person I told the whole way was my wife. She held the words while I held the wall. Truth? First person to fumble my trust was blood. Early trapping phase, I stacked a trash bag of blue faces and took it to my mama crib. Told her hold this for me. Came back and the wind had spent it. Every last sigh. I ain't sainting that story. I was funding rap with robberies and residue, but that's how cracks start. After that, money around mama felt like leaving leftovers by a stray. Love still love. Trust got asthma. My brain stay on pendulum time. One side got paranoia humming, the other side got fury holding its breath. When it swings back through center, they stick together like gum on Air Forces. I ain't have to be high to stay suspicious. I was suspicious because the recipe kept raising me wrong. Every episode glued memories to people. You flinch while I'm up? Next time I'm down, you still a problem. Put that on loop and you gon' see why I learned to travel light. Managers? I done had a jury box full. A dozen easy. More than half turned out to be wolves in merch. Some stole quick, some slow, some with paperwork, some with pockets. It's hard to trust a smile that knows your routing number. And when you a walking pharmacy with a mood swinging like a drawbridge, the under the influence ain't just codeine. It's whoever holds your calendar while your head ain't home. It's the voice that say, I got you, while it got you. From jump, the business was crooked. May 2005, trap house drop and the streets hum. Same month, murder charge land like a piano. Cell door taste like battery. Label post bond. Philanthropy with a clause. We need an amendment, they say, cool as iced tea. Another album owed, no extra dollar. Was my bond the advance? Nobody said it outright. I was 25, sleep deprived, fighting ghosts, no lawyer I trusted, signing with heartbeat ink. Freedom be loud, fine print be quiet. The deal was sold to me as a joint venture. My imprint under Big Cat, my own roster, my own table. First red flag, I floated them $50K against my deal. Loan, they called it. Payback was a myth. So when they bonded me, I was cashing myself out with money I already fronted. But when you walk out of a county cage, algebra ain't the first language. While I'm on bond, I catch an aggravated sit 6 months. They tell me, your 50 will be waiting the day you touch. Day came. Hands empty. But hard to kill flyers already on polls. A project stitched from whatever they had on the hard drive, named without me right after murder charges dropped. Tasteless, cheap, tacky. They told me my image is a problem. lined me with an image consultant the next morning like a barber on a warrant. I want to give back, I told her, still hot at the label. Book bags, school drives. She nodded like she had a catalog for redemption. I ain't buy it. I ain't buy nobody. I slid back into the street money and put a tape on my own back. Chicken talk. Let Big Cat do Big Cat. I was rolling independent, angry, and productive. Radio still called, clubs still paid, but my ledger with them folks never balanced. Name of the label? Moms and my then manager pushed So Icy Entertainment 'cause the song rang off. I laughed. Off one record, I wanted Street Nigga Entertainment. Say it with your chest. Started yelling it on tracks. Then So Icy grew fangs and I let it stick. Brand is a coat you learn to like once it keep you warm. Big Cat kept feeding their pipeline off my leftovers. I kept building a new house across the street with my own bricks. To the public, it looked prolific. Behind the curtain, it was injuries and duct tape. The consultant stayed around. Called one day. People in ATL, people in New York want to sign you. And there's a check headed to your mom's house. Maybe cash sirens in my gut. If money landing at mama's, money evaporating at mama's. Consultant said she could circumvent. Have it sent to her. I ain't even know who cut it. For what? How much? But I let it happen. That's how cracks widen into corridors. I formed a partnership with her later, business on paper. Then watched her slide artists from under me to other tables while telling me I wasn't fit to hold their hands. Maybe I wasn't. But that ain't how loyalty talk. Felt like deja vu with lipstick. Whole industry be musical chairs with titles. I discover an artist. That make me A and R. I get my own radio slot. Am I my publicist? A nigga books my show and takes a slice from a feature. Is he booking or managing or stealing? When you don't grow up with steady parents, you hand parenthood to whoever speak like a compass. That's dangerous. They ain't always evil. Sometimes they just human with the key to your safe. I try not to father my artists too hard now. Mentoring can morph into molding, molding into owning, owning into using. I ain't trying to pass down anybody's ghosts. Meanwhile, jealousy turned my studio to a corner store with no cameras. Folks I fed walked out with my mics, my sticks, my duffels, my bracelets. Papa Zan, grab a printer, tuck a pistol. WAP won't notice. He zoned part hate, part hunger, part curiosity. How this nigga still winning while looking like a crash? They ain't see the kid in me who loved books, counted quicker than the teacher, wanted a different map. They saw the meme, so they took. When I found out, fear filled the spaces their greed had been. 'Cause a sober mad me ain't the same as a high sad me. The streets had their own commentary. Real deal trappers with both feet in concrete felt slighted by the myth around my name. We outside daily, and y'all salute bro as trap God while we dodge indictments God ain't never signed. I ain't above their grind. I just played the math different. Why chase a risky 20 when a surgical 100 make itself available with no commute? That's how I framed it then. 1 becomes 7 because 7 feel like momentum. And the more I won, the more they hated, the more I laughed, the more they loaded. It ain't smart, it ain't noble, it ain't safe, it's just honest. I knew what I was doing in them houses. That wasn't a blackout accident. That was a man with empathy unplugged. The pendulum stuck on don't feel. Maybe the karma for that was how easily folks put their hands in my pockets later. Difference is, the people who robbed me smiled in my hallway first. They ate off my plate, then folded their napkins. That receipt don't belong to me. The business side went on being sloppy. Shows popping, features wiring, but half the hands that counted for me counted for themselves. Studio calendars jammed. I was still CEO on paper, self-crowned, self-funded. But the chair had gum on it. I'd come back from a weekend run and something else be gone. Bizarre part is how normal that became. Where the Uzi? Which Uzi? Damn. Trust got rationed. If I let you in my space, I either loved you or needed you. Both categories burned me. I ain't naive. I'm stubborn. I believed I was smarter than everybody, so when somebody snuck me, the shame cut deeper than the theft. That shame turned to rage, turned to action, which turned to cases, which turned to probation, which turned to me looking at ceilings doing multiplication. Time times mistakes equals lessons or losses. But I ain't write this to draw a halo or a horror mask. I'm just putting the paperwork on wax. I wanted out of the dime bag job. Decided robberies got the spread I liked. While the city clapped, I kept borrowing against my future. Labels played, managers ate, Family slipped. Consultants consulted their own pockets. The hood took souvenirs. The blogs took angles. And I took medicine. Every time I looked up, someone else had a piece of me with a receipt I ain't approve. And yet the work never stopped. Even at my drunkest, I could still catch a pocket, bend a syllable, build a tape in a week. Money still found me. Fame still glued itself to my shoes. 10 letters. CEO still sat on my tongue like a peppermint. I yelled 1017 till my throat hoarse and the chain got heavier. Folks asked how. The answer not pretty. I was a storm with a calendar. Productive chaos. You can build a brand out of that. You can also bury yourself under it. Some nights I think about every face that weighed me on a scale and chose their own hunger. Some mornings I think about every door I kicked to fund a dream. If there's math that balanced that, I ain't seen it yet. What I know is this. When the pendulum slow down, you get to see the room real. You get to name who did what and who you was when you let 'em. And you get to decide which keys still fit your door. All that mismanaged wasn't just contracts and calendars, it was a life. I was the asset and the liability, the brand and the breach. And I still woke up plotting. Not revenge, not even apology, just control. My hands, my head, my signature, my stories. The same hunger that made me dangerous is the one that made me. I ain't finna pretend otherwise. Chapter 7. Toxic. They put a big word on it like it make it pretty. Conservatorship. Sound like a museum job. Sound like white gloves and clipboards. In real life, it feel like handcuffs with your mama's face on the badge. That's what broke me open in that cold-fed dorm, sober as a sermon, counting cinder blocks and mistakes like beads on a rosary. I done hurt folks for real. Wronged them, robbed them, ran through hearts and wallets same night. Some of them still love me. Some ain't never gonna say my name again unless it's followed by bitch ass. I can own that. But I also know a sentence gotta fit the sin. And what they tried to do to me? That was a life bid wrapped in the word help prison slow the world down till you can hear your own bones. Ain't no syrup, ain't no pills, ain't no club noise drowning the voices. Just you and the echo. I remember the day Drew came through, suit humming, eyes saying this finna sting. He slid the folder across the metal like a dealer. Your mama filed in probate, he said, voice soft, 'cause this ain't the kind of case his office take. Wants to be your conservator. I knew the word from TMZ and barbershop talk. Brittany shaving her head, cameras acting like vultures, folks moving her like a chess piece. Me? I shaved mine too, whole scalp burning like a siren. I ain't need a dictionary to get the picture. I opened that folder and it was like God rolled tape on every bad night and let the angels do commentary. Lists, dates, amounts, episodes, mug shots, tweets, fights, guns, lean. All the ugly and bullet points as if the bullets ain't already done damage. And the signatures? Family I ain't spoke to since block parties in '98. Now they all Greek chorus humming, we just concerned. Concerned about what? Me or the money? 'Cause the paperwork ain't say rehab. It said give me his keys. It said I can't buy gum without permission. It said my own hands not good enough to hold my own pockets. You gotta understand, my history with mama been complicated like dope cut. She raised a soldier out the mud. 2 jobs, no tears where we could see 'em. But that bag I gave her once upon a time to hold came back light. Trust tore then and never healed proper. Still, I kept her fed, paid bills, slid her stacks 'cause that's what a son do when he make it past the bus stop. Even when I ain't trust nobody, I tried to trust her with what I could. That's why this one sliced different. Getting jumped don't hurt as bad as getting sneaked by somebody using your last name. My brother stuck in the doorway like a rug, trying to be a cushion for everybody. He the one put me on to certain hustles when I was a shorty. He carried that guilt like a duffel. I told him, nah, I made my own turns. But you could hear it in him when mama pressed him to co-sign. He Googled the word for real. Nobody from Zone 6 born knowing that language. He filled a line or two 'cause you don't say no to mama easy. But when it came time to stamp the whole play, his spirit balked. I can't do it, he said. I respect him forever for that. Didn't stop her, though. She found another cousin in the choir to hit the high note. I called Drew back to back from the unit phones, stepping over chess games and noodles. We fighting this, I told him. On my life. He ain't that kind of lawyer, but he looked me dead in my raw, sober eyes and said, we with you then. They put Marissa on it, the one in the office who knew that probate voodoo. She worked it like a safe. Hard sell to a judge. Wrapper with a file that read like a riot. Multiple cases simmering. Mama saying protect my baby from his own hands. On paper, they looked merciful. In my skin, they felt like repo men. Look, during my breaks, I did dumb with money. Cycling had me clicking by like a seizure. Wake up to boxes, pants never worn, ice screaming on a weekday, fees bleeding. Whole rings of folks ate off my name and handed me crumbs like I was lucky to be present. Mama hated that, or she hated that she ain't control it. Sometimes I ain't know which. She called my episodes sick, like a storm I brought on purpose. We'd argue 'cause in my head, I still saw that empty bag from back when. I believed everybody taking. Strangers, partners, even blood. Fair ain't family bound, fair is math. She went and hired a shark with my own dollars, told the court I was a target, a crash, a piggy bank with a hair trigger. She spoke like love with the ledger. Lock the assets, I'll be the key. Outside eyes clap for that story. Inside me, alarm bells. 'Cause what's the end date on a thing like that? Who say when I'm better? Who profit while I prove it? By then, the prison had sanded me down. No fights, no write-ups, head clear from sitting with myself. I ain't asked for a parade, just to hold my steering wheel when I get back in my car. I called my brother from the tier. She can't do me like that, I said. We both whispered, caught between loyalty and logic. He knew my worst, saw me wild and bug-eyed in real time. He also heard the new tone in my voice. It's hard to ask folks to believe you grew when you calling from behind a number. But growth got a sound. He caught it. We beat it. On God, we did. Papers came back with that petition floated face down. Marissa said the stress shaved years off her. Drew said they only did it 'cause it was me. I ain't got a thank you big enough to fit what they kept in my hands. It gave me new lungs. Gave me a reason to block every old path back to the hell that made that paperwork possible. I wish the ending was a hug. Instead, I got memes. He a clone, they said. Wild part? Some of that talk came from Mommy Dearest herself, telling folks the man who walked out them gates wasn't her son. She wanted the belly and the bloat back, the dead eyes and the shaved skull, the easy puppet. The new muscle, the early mornings, the books, the silence. That spooked her. Strength looked like distance to her. Maybe 'cause strong me meant nobody dipping my pockets with a family pass anymore. Still, I did what I always did. Paid for what needed paying. Bought her a car. Kept envelopes coming. I ain't invite her to the wedding. That shot hurt me more than it could ever hurt the internet. But I wasn't finna let the devil RSVP. She passed January 5th, 2019. I wasn't in the pews. I covered the whole thing and stayed home. Some folks gon' judge that forever. They ain't lived in this skin. Love from a distance is still love. It just ain't suicidal. Me and bro, we patched, but it ain't the old denim. Thread thin in places, but it's ours. We talk like men now. He don't carry my rap sheet on his back no more, and I don't load my grief on his porch. We both know where the lines live. People hear conservatorship and think white girls in mansions, tabloids, umbrellas in the rain. I hear the sound a safe make when you spin it and somebody else know the code. I see the way a mother's face look when she preach protection but reach for power. I ain't no saint. If life was honest, somebody could have applied to be my moral conservator a long time ago and the city might have slept better. But control dressed in concern still control. You can't heal a man by shrinking him. In that unit, every night got the same lights out, the same keys, the same CO heavy foot down the range. I'd lay there and picture all the ways this could have gone if a judge believed the story more than the truth. Me out, but not free. Every check detouring. Every yes or no coming from a voice that once told me to leave my stash money under her floorboards. That fear ain't righteous. It's math. Some cages got no bars. So I built my own locks. I learned signatures and line items. I learned what a POA is and how fiduciary ain't a sneaker. I learned to say no with my chest. I put people on salary that used to eat off vibes. I made my circle small enough to sit inside a Sprinter and count heads twice. I became the kind of nigga you can't babysit, even if you love him. They'll say I'm cold for how I kept her at arm's length at the end. They'll say I'm ungrateful for paying for the funeral and not showing up. They'll say anything that make the movie easier to watch. But my life ain't a matinee. It's a long-ass hallway of doors I had to close before something ugly walked back in. Mama made her choice. I made mine. Both of us got the right to live with them. Every now and then, in the quiet, I hear the old house. The radiator knock. The fridge hum. Her coming in tired with cheap groceries and proud eyes. I let that version of her hold me for a second. Then I let her go too. 'Cause the other version, the one in the courtroom with a petition and a plan, she gon' have to meet God without my testimony. And me? I'm still here, flesh and mind, no puppeteer behind the curtain. 10 toes, 10, 7, 10 on my chest, pockets I count, calendars I sign, mistakes I own. Toxic ain't just what you drink. Sometimes it's the water you was baptized in. I crawled out that tub and dried off, even if it meant stepping over 1,000 broken expectations. Real talk, I ain't perfect. I'm just finally mine. Chapter 8. The Pink Cloud. They got a cute name for the high after the hell. Pink Cloud. Sound like cotton candy and slow sunsets. To me, it felt like stepping out the pen into a brand new body. Lungs clean, paperwork light, anklet gone, sky wide open. First time since 21 I ain't got a P.O. clocking my footsteps. Married now. House for my woman, Porsche building condo for the work. Elevator take your car straight to your living room. Miami flex. Studio in the clouds, gym down the hall, ocean whispering you him. I believed it. New Gucci, clean Gucci, booked and busy Gucci. I told myself I'm cured, on God. Folks clapped. I clapped the loudest. But comfort a slick enemy. I ain't touch lean, I ain't pop nothing, I ain't smoke heavy. Still, I starved myself of real rest. Flights back and forth Atlanta just to squeeze a verse between meetings, then double back to Miami to punch another chorus. Sleep? I treated it like an operation. Food? I played defense like calories was warrants. Meds? First set had me flat, weight creeping, brain feeling like it had ankle weights. I'm thinking, damn, I just beat the belly. I ain't finna let a pill give it back. Instead of switching, I quit. Cold. Told myself discipline better than dosage. That pink cloud got me preaching to myself like a deacon with a rollie. Keishia kept peeping the cracks. Babe, don't even sip, she'd say. Don't break what you rebuilt. I heard her, but the grind was louder. That's the part nobody talk about. Addiction move out, mood disorder still got a lease. It don't need a styrofoam cup to crash your party. The institution got its own echo too. You can walk out the gate and still hear count time in your chest. I came home hungry to prove I'm different. Problem is, hunger and harmony ain't the same thing. First red flag was the mirror talking back weird. Beard heavy, cheeks cut like I'd been fasting for a roll, hair growing wild, 'cause the clippers ain't seen me, arms veiny like rebar. I felt carved from something harder than skin. Stood on that glass balcony and felt 10 stories tall, wind baptizing me like, you the one. And somewhere deep under the baseline of my heart came the whisper, you a gorilla. Not like cute zoo shit, like crown on the canopy, chest thunder. I am the gorilla, I said out loud, and the ocean ain't argue. Paranoia got a playlist, and it starts slow. I ain't noticed I was side-eyeing my own wife till it was too late. She told me be careful, my brain flipped it like she was preying on my fall. That's how the demon work. Pick the closest face and paint horns on it. Texts got dry, calls got short. Her voice on the other end sound like static 'cause I ain't listening no way. Engineer pull up, he got her on speaker, telling her I'm straight. He lying to save me and don't even know it. Groceries slide on the counter. I rip open ground beef like a prize. Took a fistful, raw, cold, iron bite on my tongue, smacked like it was cooked. Somewhere far away the real me gagged. The gorilla burped and smiled. Next thing I know I'm naked under steam, door cracked, that condo shower big enough to park a Benz. Water hit me and voices brayed through the hiss. You good? Open the door. Baby, we going home. Her tone soft but strategic. She been here before. She learned the language. I switched channels inside my skull every other minute. Hey baby. That's me for 10 seconds. Get the fuck on. That's the other man taking the wheel. Security outside like a kickoff team. My trainer in the mix 'cause she's smart. She know a familiar face calm the beast. She staged it surgical. I ain't see the headlock coming till arms around my neck and love yelling, grab him now. And I squared up. On God I did. Swung at the air 'cause I ain't finna swing at her. Pride barking, towel barely holding. Elevator ride quiet except my heart thudding like a subwoofer. Door open at the lobby, guard peek. She shh him like a librarian with a Draco. Back seat they put me in the middle like a problem child. 2 on the wings, 1 in front. Convoy rolling to a back entrance. Somebody cleared with a phone call and a favor. I kept mumbling zoo talk, sizing up the fluorescent jungle like it was mine to patrol. Don't look at me, I told folks who stared, eyes hot, swagger wrong. Psych room got nothing but a cotton walls that don't answer back. It felt like county with cleaner paint. You think I ain't cuss her? I did. Told the woman who kept me breathing I wanted out her life. Said divorce like it was small talk. She didn't flinch, 'cause she know the monster and the man share a name but not a soul. Needle came with 3 hands on my shoulders. I thrashed, then I sank. 12 hours? 24? Could have been a week in there. Sleep folded me like laundry. Reset switch clicking somewhere under the scar tissue. Woke up mad at sheets, at light, at the word therapy. Cussed out the doc 'cause who he think he is asking questions while my head's still rearranging furniture. Cussed her out again 'cause I'm gifted at hurting the safest person in the room. They moved me to a normal bed too early. He better, somebody wrote. He Gucci, somebody lied. They released me. Bro picked me up 'cause she knew if I see her, I'm liable to bite the hand that feed me. Soon as I touched daylight, I called home like a robber. Bring me some money. I need clothes. She told me no, 'cause she know I'll throw a rack at the sun or hand it to a stranger just to prove a point the devil made up. I slid to the gas station, bare minimum normal. Pump, pay, stare through people like they glass. Went back to the condo, and the hour it took her to come get me felt like somebody turning the volume down on the demon. 70% me at first, then 85 on the ride. Voice got shape again. Thoughts started standing up straight. When the fog thins, you hear what you sounded like inside it. Shame a heavy coat in Miami. Home tasted like medicine. We sat at the table, plates and pills. You had an episode, she said, calm like summer rain. I argued with amnesia. I ain't say all that. She tilted her head. That look women do when they love you enough to show you the mirror without breaking it over your skull. I ain't want no recordings, no receipts of me acting like a stranger. Pride wanted to erase it. Growth made me sit in it. She could have posted a clip and let the internet do me dirty. Instead, she tucked the worst of me in an envelope and locked it in her heart. That's protection you can't buy. Calls from the label, from folks who keep the calendar. Rolling Loud missed. That one bruised me bad. Since I walked out the gate, I swore I'd be the pro, the on-time man, the yes sir, here go the set man. I hate being the story for the wrong reason. Wiz flew in to shoot real rich, and I'm out the frame wearing hospital air. When I got my head on again, I hit him like a man supposed to. My bad, slime. On me. I'll pay every ticket and book a jet. Whatever it cost, he's solid. He ain't make me beg. We shot it later. I wore a hat 'cause the psych ward clippers ain't got no blend, and I ain't want the world drawing circles like there he go again. Crazy thing is, it was true. I had gone again, but I came back. Sometimes coming back looked like hiding the stitches till they heal. Todd hit me too, OG consultation from a place of care, not control. If the med's not it, we find new ones, he told me. Doc shopping ain't weakness, it's maintenance. Therapy too, place to put the words that don't rhyme good enough for the booth. I ain't like it at first 'cause vulnerability got a taste I ain't grew up on. But the alternative is headlines nobody can unfax. Couple weeks of doing right and the hum in my skull cooled to a purr. Trainer told me later, your wife the realest, bruh. She project managing a hurricane, he ain't lying. She turned a kidnapping into a rescue, a hospital into a sanctuary, security into shepherds. She the one who learned the psychology on the fly. Talk to me like I'm 5 when the 5-year-old snatched the steering wheel. You don't bark at lightning. You wait the storm out and keep the house dry. What I learned? Ain't no graduation day from this. It's not like I get a sash and the dean shake my hand and the brain behave 'cause the tassel flipped. I'm maintenance now. Sleep like a job, food like fuel, workouts like church, meds like seatbelt. I listen when she say nah. I treat pink clouds like parades. Enjoy it while it pass. Don't try to live on it. And when the mirror whisper ape talk, I go outside, put my feet in some grass, call my wife, call my sponsor, call my God, call whoever pick up before the other voice do. People think 1017 just a chain and an ad lib. To me, it's a calendar I owe. 10 toes, 7 rules, 10 reminders. Don't skip meals. Don't skip sleep. Don't skip meds. Don't skip prayer. Don't skip calls. Don't skip work. Don't skip her intuition. The day I violate too many of them, the jungle drums start up. And you can't fight a gorilla you invented by lifting more weights. You beat him by putting the crown down. Sometimes late, we'll be in bed and she'll ask with that little smile, "You remember biting raw meat?" I wince and laugh to stop from crying. "Damn, bae," I say. "I thought that was a dream." She kissed my forehead like she's stamping a passport. "Not a dream," she say. "A lesson." Then she cut the light and pulled me in like a lighthouse pulls a ship. They talk about the pink cloud like it's heaven with training wheels. I ain't chasing that no more. Clouds ain't home. Clouds can't hold you. My home 5'5" brown with eyes that read demons like blueprints and hands that can headlock a destiny back onto track. My home cook me salmon and side-eye my shortcuts. My home say no with love and yes with rules. My home is a woman who will call a hospital before she call the cops and call God before she dial either. I ain't gotta stand on a balcony to feel king. King ain't an animal. King is a man who know when to kneel, to rest, to pray, to thank the person who dragged him out the jungle he swore he owned. I still wake some mornings hearing the echo of cell keys and the ghost of old cravings clink like ice in a cup that ain't there. I take my vitamins, lace my trainers, kiss my wife, and write my raps. I log my hours of sleep like plaques. I guard the gates of my head like it's the only house I got. 'Cause it is. Pink cloud drift by sometimes, flirting. I wave back, but I don't step on. I got solid ground under me now. And when I forget, she reminds me, sometimes with a whisper, sometimes with a headlock, always with love. Chapter 9, The Blame Game. I swear I thought I had this shit handled. I was doing everything right. Meds on time, meals clean, gym routine locked in, therapy every week. I wasn't skipping no steps. I ain't drinking, ain't smoking, ain't sliding nowhere that could throw me off track. My wife was pregnant with Ice, my lil man, and I made a promise. I ain't gon' fuck this up. I ain't raised my first boy like I shoulda, and I ain't finna let history repeat. So I built my life like a schedule. Wake up, take meds, eat, work out, pray, stay solid. Keisha made sure of that. She built a whole system for me, kept me level. I knew I wasn't cured, but I was cool. My head was clear, my soul was steady. Felt like the world finally catching up to the version of Gucci I always wanted to be. Then it was my damn teeth. Middle of the pandemic, 2020. Quarantine easing up, flights opening again. I fly out to LA to get some diamonds put in. Just a little sparkle for the smile, nothing wild. Procedure needed anesthesia. I told everybody, no opioids, no painkillers. They knew my past. But anesthesia, that's a whole different beast. Before I sat in that chair, I was thinking business. The new 10710 just launched. Me and Atlantic linked up, label partnership official. Salary, benefits, title, A and R at a major. I was proud, man, from prison to payroll. Felt like the streets finally paid their debt back to me. Whole thing was lining up. I had purpose again. Then they hit me with the needle. Lights out. When I opened my eyes, something was off. I ain't even know where I was for a minute. Clock ticking, heart racing, voices in my head. Slick, cruel ones I ain't heard in years. Nice teeth, huh? Shame everybody hate you. They robbing you blind, nigga. You just too dumb to see it. That old paranoia creeping back like it never left. I tried to shake it, but the devil already had a seat. My hand grabbed my phone before my brain caught up. 4:44 p.m., June 12th. Angel number, right? Shit felt demonic. Next thing I know, I'm on Twitter again, fingers moving like they possessed. Leaving number Atlantic Records July 3rd, I typed. These crackers polite racist. Tagged hashtag so icy summer like I was making a campaign out of chaos. Then I kept going. Labels racist. Artists go on strike. Burn them down. I ain't even know what the fuck I was saying. Just pure fire coming out of my fingertips. No logic, no filter, just static. Lights out again. When I came back, I was on a plane headed to Miami. Still under that anesthesia fog. Body there, brain somewhere else. I kept tweeting, texting, spiraling. When I landed, Keisha already knew. She seen that look before. That wasn't her husband. That was the ghost wearing his chain. She moved quick. Got the meds, locked me down, started the routine again. It wasn't as long as the old episodes, but the damage? Way worse. 1 week, one whirlwind, and I woke up to a world on fire. First thing I did when I got right was check my phone. I shouldn't have. 10 group texts, big names, executives, friends, Legends. Todd, Julie, Harmony, Brett, Brian, a few others. I opened the first thread and my stomach dropped. The words, shit I'd never say sober, ugly, hateful, paranoid, threats, accusations, talking like people trying to hurt my son. I don't even know where that came from. I texted my brother P, told him, "You ain't real. Don't ever fucking call me again." I texted Drake, Steve Stout, "You a bitch." Man, I couldn't breathe. Embarrassed ain't the word. I was ashamed. Drake hit back, "Who the fuck you talking to like that?" All I could say later was, "My bad, bro. I was going through something." He said, "It's cool. Brothers go through shit sometimes." That forgiveness saved me from falling deeper. That man ain't have to understand, but he did. And that's when it hit me. This wasn't 2013, but it felt the same. The old me on the timeline, starting wars for no reason, the internet eating it up again. They said I was starting a revolution, talking hashtag Black Lives Matter like it was strategy. I wasn't leading no movement. I was drowning in another manic wave. Atlantic had showed me love, real talk. They gave me a position, a platform, respect, and I trashed it in one night. Julie called me after. "Gucci, I know this ain't you, but I gotta protect the label I got it." I told her if it ever happened again, block me. Don't reply. Call my wife and wait a few days. I needed a protocol, a safety net from my own brain. They had to let me go. I understood. Still broke my heart. That was one of my biggest L's, losing something I worked so hard to earn, all because of one trip to the dentist. When I got home, Harmony came through. He'd been on that text thread. Didn't come to judge, came to see. Said, "Bruh, when you FaceTime me, your eyes was gone." That wasn't you, I believed him. I felt sick. I apologized till I ran out of breath. Ain't no high like coming back from crazy and realizing what you did while you were gone. You gotta piece your life together like detectives reading your own case file. They got medical terms for it. Post-surgical psychosis, emergence delirium. Fancy words for your brain flipped when they put you under. Ain't no warnings for that shit. If you wired like me, mood disorder, trauma, all that, it's like playing Russian roulette with chemicals. Doctor told me later, even antidepressants can trigger mania if you bipolar. So anesthesia? Yeah, it hit me like a freight train. I'm lucky. I mean that. Lucky my people knew the real me under the noise. Todd, P, Harmony, my wife, they all caught me before I burned bridges to ash. Lost my job, but not my life. Learned the hard way to list the meds I can't touch. Now when I go under, I got systems in place, calls set up, hands watching me, no more surprises. Still, that guilt lingered. I kept that Atlantic benefits packet as a reminder. Thick folder, all the perks I never even got to use. Every time I see it, it whisper, "One wrong dose can cost you everything." Rocco, my brother, for real. We've been through it. From studios to stages to straight up war zones. He's one of the few who saw me crash and ain't step on my back while I was down. I remember one night at the club, my mind racing, pockets open. I started handing out racks, chains, watches, just wildin'. Gave away like 30 bands. Everybody took something, except Rocco. He pushed the cash back and said, "Gucci, I don't need that. We cool, we friends." That stuck with me. But when my mind broke again, even he caught a stray. Vegas, 2013. His crew ran up a $5,000 minibar tab on my manager's card, or at least I thought they did. My brain twisted it up. I called mad, thinking he set me up. Weeks later, I'm convinced Rocco dissing me, holding grudges that ain't real. I hit Twitter, started wildin', said shit that cut deep. He pulled up to the studio trying to talk, but my paranoia turned it into a showdown. I grabbed the strap, ready for war that didn't even exist. We ain't shoot, thank God, but we both lost something that night. Years later, he heard me getting dragged on the radio, and instead of laughing, he told folks, "Pray for my boy." That's real love. So when we finally sat down years later, I told him, "I'm sorry, bruh. I wasn't right in the head." He said, "I know, man. I ain't hold that grudge. Close the wound like men supposed to. That's the thing. When my brain glitch, I rewrite history. My memories flip. I fill the blanks with fear. It took years of therapy to even accept that. Sometimes I remember nothing, just receipts, texts, rumors. Imagine living like that, having to reconstruct your own life from screenshots. That's the hardest part of recovery. Still, I'm blessed I got folks who ain't throw me away. Rocco, P, Thug, Scooter, all pieces of my story. Even when shit got messy, I made peace where I could, forgave where I couldn't. Losing Scar, losing Enchanting, that cut deep. Folks talk like I cursed them. Gucci bad luck. 1017 a curse. That's bullshit. I tried my best to help every artist that walked through my door. Paid for funerals, covered costs, gave them game. But you can't control demons you can't see. You can love somebody and still not save them. Chant and Scar were family to me. When they passed, the internet pointed fingers, said it was on me. That shit broke me more than any headline. I ain't respond. I took it on the chin, 'cause death ain't a time to clap back. But inside, I was hurting. Watching kids I believed in go too early, knowing I told them better. Seeing their names trend 'cause they gone instead of 'cause they winning. That pain stick with you. Same with Quan. He had it all. Hits, love, motion. But the game don't care. When the fame fade, the poison fill the silence. He slipped and he ain't make it back. Soon as he died, the numbers went up. Always like that. Flowers after the funeral, streams after the stone. And through all that, people still say I'm the curse. Nah, I'm proof you can break one. I clawed my way back from every L, every cell, every psych ward. I took the blame so others ain't have to, but I ain't carrying that weight forever. I ain't the villain in nobody's story no more. I'm the lesson, the warning, the blueprint. You want to play the blame game? Cool. Just make sure you spin that wheel and land on your own reflection too. Chapter 10. OJ's episode. Ain't too many niggas I can say been there since the dirt. But Juice? Yeah, that's family. Me and OJ the Juice Man go way back. Way before the fame, way before the ice, way before this rap shit even felt real. We was them two East Atlanta kids pushing cans and bottles for change, trying to stack up for something better. I ain't even know what better meant back then. But I knew it had to be more than rats in the walls and helicopters circling the block every night. We was dreaming before we even knew what a dream cost. Years later, we standing on stage again, 2025, crowd going crazy to make the trap say I. That shit felt like time reversed. Like every fucked up thing we ever went through just melted away under them stage lights. But what folks didn't see was all the pain that came before that. All the loyalty, betrayal, confusion, the streets, the labels, the fake smiles, the gaslighting. Shit that could have killed us, mentally, emotionally, and physically. See, OJ's story got its own ghosts. I ain't even talking about the beef or the blogs. I'm talking about when life hit him dead on. First diabetes, then the bullets. 8 shots, bruh. 8. 1 week he was fighting sugar, next week he was fighting for his life. He told me, Gucci, I was on that hospital bed thinking, man, if I get one more chance, I'm getting out the streets. He ain't even have time to heal before them vultures came flying. Folks whispering, sign here, Juice. These white folks gon' get you right. Gucci wildin' out anyway. You need somebody safe. He ain't even standing yet, still on crutches, and they sliding contracts under his nose like it's medicine. He told me later, bro, they had tears in their eyes while I was signing. They was crying 'cause they knew I was signing the worst deal of my life. And that broke me when I heard it. 'Cause back then, I was too deep in my own madness to see how much the system was eating him too. He thought I was the danger. All them stories they was telling about me tweaking, robbing, blacking out. I get it now. From the outside, I ain't look like no CEO. I look like a risk. But what them suits was really scared of wasn't my temper. It was my truth. They knew if 2 niggas from Boulder Crest built something from scratch, it'd shake they whole setup. I remember taking Juice up to New York for them meetings. I had my deal with Atlantic/Asylum, trying to build my own label under it. I wanted to show him what Atlanta really was. No gimmicks, just hustle. I told Juice, we gon' walk in there looking like money. Bought him clothes, iced him out, even gave him my Jacob watch. Told him, you wear this, bruh. We gon' shine in that boardroom. I wanted to look like a boss and make him feel like one too. We drove them Corvettes up north like we was riding to destiny. But when we got there, something shifted. Shit felt off. Next thing I know, my own manager, the one I brought to the table, was whispering deals on the side. She started talking to Juice behind my back, telling him, don't sign with Gucci. I'll get you to the real money. He not stable enough to run no label. That's when everything went left. When Juice told me he was signing with her, I was crushed. I ain't even get mad like regular. I felt betrayed. Like, damn, you my brother. We came from the same trap. You done seen me at my worst, and you still let somebody convince you I wasn't good enough to lead. That shit stung deeper than a bullet. I ain't never wanted to rob my niggas. I wanted to build with them. But at that point, I ain't even know who was playing who. I just knew my heart was in it, and it felt like everybody else was in it for a check. So yeah, when I saw Juice later, I asked for my watch back. That wasn't about the money. That was pain talking. He said it was in the shop, getting diamonds replaced. I said, aight. But inside, I was heated. Felt like my dream just got jacked. Me and Juice was supposed to be the new Cam and Jules, show the world how Zone 6 move. I ain't want no fake friendship. I wanted a legacy. Years passed, and we ain't talk much. We was both in our own storms. Me fighting my episodes, he fighting the industry that ate his pockets alive. He got robbed blind by the same people who claimed to save him. 50% here, 20% there, taxes, managers, fake security, all that. He signed away his best album just to get free. The other side of the trap. He gave them that for his life, and 10 years after his death. That's the kind of fine print they don't tell you about. When we finally reconnected, it was like looking in a mirror. Both of us scarred. Both of us had been lied to, manipulated, gaslit, by the streets, by labels, by people we trusted. You ain't gotta be bipolar to lose your mind in this game. All it takes is too many snakes in your circle and too many suits telling you what's best for you. That's its own kind of psychosis. He told me how they was coming to his hospital bed after he got shot, saying, Gucci strung out, Juice. He ain't fit to be no boss. Let us handle your career. Imagine that. A nigga you love, the one you started with, being told you poison while he lay dying. I can't even blame him for signing. They played him like a violin, and he ain't know it till the music stopped. Meanwhile, I'm out here losing cars, chains, phantoms, all in her name. Shit I thought was mine drove away with somebody else behind the wheel. Juice told me one time, she pulled up in your Pepsi Phantom, feet out the window laughing, said, y'all waste y'all money on jewelry, I buy houses. That's when it hit me. They ain't just robbing us of money, they was stealing our dignity. It took me hitting my own bottom to see the picture clear. Ain't no therapy like rock bottom, bruh. I realized I'd been fighting the wrong war. I kept thinking the enemy was the block or the drugs or the fake niggas. Nah, the real enemy was the manipulation. That invisible hand twisting us up till we turned on each other. Juice went back to the streets cause that's what he knew. When the industry rob you, the block feel honest again. You know the rules there. But I ain't never stopped believing in him. Even when we ain't talking, I'm praying for him. Cause he one of the few niggas that saw me at my lowest and still saw me. That's why when we finally linked up on that stage again, it hit different. That moment wasn't just music. It was two grown men standing in forgiveness. Two East Atlanta boys that survived contracts, bullets, psych wards, and betrayal. And still said, we ain't need no big speech, no interview moment. Just that one look between us, like, yeah, we made it through the fire. People talk about episodes like they just mental breakdowns, but the truth? This whole industry one big episode. Money, fame, drugs, fake love. That shit'll make anybody lose their mind if they don't hold on tight. Me and Juice, we both had our episodes, just different kinds. His came from trusting too much. Mine came from feeling too much. But at the end, we both learned the same thing. Sometimes you gotta lose everything to remember who you really are. So when I look back on all that now, the deals, the drama, the distance, I don't see failure. I see survival. That night on stage in Atlanta, when the crowd yelled, "I," louder than the beat, I swear I felt tears try to sneak up. That was God saying, y'all did it. Ain't no paperwork in the world that can own that moment. Me and Juice, we still here, still standing, still making the trap say I. Epilogue. Rebirth. Tick, tick, tick. 5 minutes. Before I hit that Fox Theater stage and the room sound like thunder. Whole city packed in there. 5,000 deep, screaming my name like I just came home from the grave. Drew standing backstage next to me, grinning, saying, ain't it wild, bruh? You sober, clean, and drinking coffee before hitting the stage? I laughed, cause real talk, that shit hit me harder than any cup of lean ever did. Same styrofoam, whole different story inside it. That night was June 17th, 2016, my welcome home party. Felt like resurrection. I done died a few times already, just never got buried. This time, it wasn't about the lights or the crowd. It was about breathing, about feeling every beat, every face, every drop of sweat like proof that I made it back from hell. When I walked out that night, I ain't see fans. I saw witnesses. Folks who seen the old Gucci wild out, seen me fade, seen me locked down, and still pulled up to celebrate the new me. Not perfect, not cured, just alive. That's rebirth for real. Sometimes I look around and still can't believe how far I came. Other times, I know this was always part of the plan. God just had to break me to rebuild me. I had to lose myself to find what was left worth saving. Ain't no easy process. That shit hurt. You gotta make a choice to live when dying sound easier. October 17th, 2017, 10:17. The numbers that always been mine. I married my queen, Keishia. She held me down through the chaos, through every cell, every episode, every blackout. Now we got 2 beautiful kids, my son Ice and my baby girl Iceland. That's my real empire. No chains, no plaques, no #1 hits can touch that. I got my label back too. New blood, new hunger. Still finding talent, still pushing music. That's what I was born to do. Make art, feed souls, and build legacies. But the moment that hit me hardest came in 2023, out in Vegas. Same damn suite at the Palms where I recorded Lemonade years ago. 25 racks a night. Back then I ain't remember shit cause I was high and heading straight to rehab. This time I walked in with my wife and my 2 kids. Same room, same view, but my head was clear. I looked at that private pool, the bowling alley, the studio, and for once I ain't feel empty. I felt thankful. Life different now. My mornings start with peace instead of paranoia. Keishia makes sure I take my meds soon as I wake up. Back then I'd argue, I'm straight, I don't need that today. But I learned real quick, miss 1 dose and that whole balance crumble. So now I take it religiously. That's how I keep my mind right, my family right. Every morning I run on the beach, get that air in my lungs, lift weights, eat clean, talk to my therapist, then take my lil man to school. Rest of the day I'm building business, on calls, grinding. But it's focused now. Not chaos, not madness, just growth. I still hit the studio sometimes, late nights, but it's rare. I ain't chasing ghosts no more. I'm trying to keep my peace, cause peace the new flex. And lean, PILLZ, hell nah. That part of me dead and gone. I seen what that shit do. I buried too many people cause of it. Scar, Chant, Quan. I think about them every day. Wish I could have done more. Wish they could have made it to the other side too. But I know telling my story might save somebody else from slipping. Maybe some young nigga out there gon' hear this and realize he ain't crazy, he just hurt. Maybe he'll get help before it's too late. That's why I keep talking. I don't do this for sympathy. I do it for survival. Cause I was one wrong move from not being here at all. And if I can walk through fire and come out clean, somebody else can too. When your mind break, it's like living in a war zone inside your skull. You scared to move, scared to breathe, scared to trust your own thoughts. I lived like that for years. I didn't even understand my own brain, and that confusion almost killed me. But once I started learning, once I stopped running from it, I found peace in the same mind that used to torture me. Now, mental health my #1 priority. Cause without that, money don't mean shit. Fame don't mean shit. If my head ain't right, my house fall apart. My wife and kids deserve peace, and I owe them that. They saved me when I couldn't save myself. Every night when the house quiet and my kids sleep, I walk out to the balcony, look up at the stars, and just thank God. Thank him for another shot, for letting me make it home, for letting me remember who the fuck I am. I ain't the same Gucci no more. I'm better, stronger, wiser. Still got that edge, still zone 6 to the bone. But I move different now. This is my rebirth. From chaos to clarity, from pain to peace. And every time I take a sip of that hot coffee before I hit the stage, I smile. Cause I remember what used to be in that cup. Now it's just victory. Aight, that's another chapter from episodes A Mind in Recovery. Real talk. Every line come from a place you can't fake. If you feel that, if you've been through something similar, you already know what it is. Stay locked in with Street Legends Audiobooks. We bringing you the truth straight out the mud, one story at a time. Go on, drop a like, share it with your people, leave a comment, let me know how it hit you. Cause this ain't just stories, homie. This therapy for the ones who made it out and for the ones still fighting. Respect the struggle, love the growth, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Real ones only.